we are very privileged to be here with Joe Sample of the Jazz Crusaders and later the Crusaders. And you're playing as the Jazz Crusaders tonight here at Yoshi's in Oakland.
Yes, this is we began Thursday. It is now Saturday. We have done 4 shows. It has been a lot of fun. This is the first time that I have played with Wayne Henderson since '75. We did the Free as the Win album in '76. It was one of my all-time favorite Crusaders records, and that was the first one that Wayne did not participate in. Wayne became a producer, and he went on into other things in his life, and I've always felt like I was a player. I never entertained the thought of hanging around recording boards, recording studios. I'd rather play. I get very, very bored looking and getting into the technology. There's always something else I want to do. And you know, the technology was rushing at us so fast. Every 4 months, every 6 months, you had to buy another manual and try to understand it as well as you could. I had other things musically I wanted to do as a player. And I remember I did not follow the trend as what happened in the 1970s, where there were so many musicians who made decisions of becoming a producer.
In terms of technology, though, you were one of a handful of jazz musicians to give electric or electronic keyboards credibility as a jazz instrument. I think along with Zawinul and Oscar Peterson and a couple of other guys. I mean, I remember the Crusaders being one of the first places where I heard the Rhodes in a jazz context.
Well, in 1968, we were at a jazz club in Cleveland, and when I went there, I went to the piano, which had 88 keys on it, and only 3 of the 88 played. Thunk, 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 ding, thunk, 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 thunk. It went on and on and on. So I had to pull a church organ from a back room onto the stage, and at that point, I felt like I was in one of the lowest points of my life, because as a pianist, I began to figure out that the piano player had the worst life of any musician, because he never had his instrument. I called them dogs. I was always another dog waiting on me wherever I went. In '68, I told the Jazz Crusaders, that's it. I'm going back to LA. I am changing my life. I felt like I was destroying my life, and I told them things that had to change. And right at that same time, I think I began to use a word on some recording, looking elsewhere for the piano sounds. Eventually, that was the Fender Rhodes, and Joe Zawinul and I could not use them because we would destroy them. And the word got back to Harold Rhodes that Joe Zawinul and Joe Sample refused to play the incredible Fender Rhodes because we described them as tinker toys. So Harold finally called me out, and he gave me a Fender Rhodes, and he said he had done something to the tuning tine, which was basically steel and some other secret metals, and that they would not break easily. So, being a pianist and digging in as a pianist, we actually would break the tuning tines, hammers, and we would break parts of the workings of the Fender Rhodes. Joe Zawinul did that, and I did it. So Harold took this special attention to make sure we could play it as pianists. And suddenly, the Crusaders began to do some gigs. I remember coming up to Oakland in 1970, and I used a Wurlitzer, and we did compositions from Crusaders 1. And soon after that, I began to use the Fender Rhodes. Now, there was a lot of talk about, oh, you're going electric. No, I didn't go electric. You know, the piano is my greatest love. Look at this thing I'm sitting at. You know what this piano costs? Probably $120,000, $130,000. You think I'm gonna find something like this?
It's a full 9-foot D, isn't it?
A 9-foot concert grand, and they are my favorite pianos. I had no idea what trouble I was getting myself into by becoming a piano player.